So let's start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our panel discussion, International Cooperation Building a Technologically Sovereign, Innovative and Competitive Europe. I am honored to introduce our distinguished panelists. On my left, there is Mr. Rastislav Chovanec, State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Slovak Republic. Also, Mr. Radoslav Štefanek, State Secretary of the Ministry of Investment, Regional Development and Informatization of the Slovak Republic and Government Plenipotentiary for Artificial Intelligence. Also, Mr. Andrej Cigan, Head of the Technology Security Unit at the Department of Economic Cooperation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Poland, and Mr. Egon Zorat, Director of the Foreign Trade Department at the Slovak Investment Trade Development Agency, SARIO. Thank you all for joining us today. Let us begin. So, I will start with small introduction. Europe has undergone several significant challenges in the recent years that have impacted its competitive position globally. The continent has been grappling with multiple crises simultaneously, ranging from the aftermath of the pandemic to the ongoing energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine and Middle East, not to mention the technological and economic lag behind other global players. The first round of questions, we go to the general economic view, so I will start with Mr. Chovanec. I would like to begin the discussion with a more general economic view. Where do you see Europe standing right now compared to the other world regions like mainly US and Asia in terms of innovation, competitiveness and investments?
Good afternoon, everybody. That's actually a very good question because we can be very critical. I really believe that EU is losing its competitiveness, not only or mainly because what you said previously, that there are so many crises simultaneously going on. But I think Europe is overregulating itself, and it kills the business. It kills innovation, it kills technologies. The question is, and I think my colleagues will have something to say about it, that if we really want to stick with what Europe is known for, protecting individuals and protecting people, or we will realize that we are in a crisis and that actually we are still further and further behind these main players in the innovation field like China, US, India and other countries, and then we would have to, and we will change something. It will be a very difficult political question, but I really believe that without many, I would say, drastic changes in regulation policies, in the policies of EU, we will not be competitive enough to survive, in the meaning that we would still be ranked into this world class of the most innovative countries. Our EU right now doesn't have one single product that is between the top 10 fastest growing or between the ones that are very unique worldwide. This has to change if we want to stay competitive.
Okay, before we jump to the technological sovereignty, I would also ask Mr. Zorat, what does it mean in terms of the foreign trade?
Thank you very much for the important question. From my perspective, I think that Europe still have some strong position among the global players. I absolutely agree with the problems that was mentioned here. Europe has a very strong environment, and when I'm talking about the environment, I'm talking about the first-class university research centers, innovation clusters, and also Europe tradition in manufacturing and engineering excellence, which is on our side, and also our EU single market, with that also represents the stability, predictability, and it is something with what investors are appreciating. From another point of view, we know that global challenge is getting more intensive. When we are looking, for example, on USA, we are witnessing their effort to commercialize their technical innovation in a very short time, specifically in biological or digital sectors. And on the other hand, Asian countries such as China or India, they are rapidly adapting to the new technologies, and they are investing a big time to sectors like AI, green technology, or advanced manufacturing. So from perspective of Slovakia and perspective of Sario, we see this global challenge as an opportunity. And Slovak Republic, as a part of European Union, could benefit really well through its access to single market, access to European funds, and also thanks to geographic localization, we could also turn to the commercial gate between the Western economy and the Far East economies. So that is very important, and role of our agency is very simple. Simple, not simple, hard. We need to attract the investment that are driven by the innovation, such as mobility, energy, or digital technology. And in the same way, we need to support Slovak companies with their export activities. So to conclude, yes, we need to use somehow the strength of Europe, and we need to translate that to the concrete benefits for both, I would say, global investors, but also for the local companies.
Okay. The topic of our discussion includes technological sovereign. So I will ask Mr. State Secretary Stefanek about the technological sovereignty in the current world setting. What does it mean for the Europeans today?
Who knows? Let's hands up. I would like to keep it like more fun, this discussion, because in the European Union we are trying to be like it's like everything that's so tough, everything is so serious. But when you want to do an innovation, you must be more creative, enjoy it, because Silicon Valley is not that about the guys who are sitting behind the round table and sharing their speeches generated by ChatGPT, as I, last time experience in Paris. So there is a table, we are all speaking together, and the three guys who went before me, both of them, or three of them, all of them have the same speech because they managed it at the final moment by ChatGPT. And so, does it make any sense to follow this way? No. So, but back to the question. For me, it's the ability to keep business running and provide primary and critical services even during unexpected events, so that we are able to make our own decisions in the situations which are critical. This is for me the technological sovereignty of Europe.
Okay, is the view of Poland similar?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for this question. It's a very timely one. So for me, yeah, it's similar because, for me, first and foremost, it's about technological sovereignty. It's about security. Look at Ukraine, for example. It clearly shows us that digital resilience, secure supply chains is not a matter of luxury anymore. It's just a matter of survival, really. So yeah, it's going for technological sovereignty means creating conditions for making independent choices about us in Europe, about our future economic competitiveness. It's about not being vulnerable to economic coercion, for example, in the future. It's about deciding on ourselves. But what is important here, from my perspective, is that it should not be, this goal should not be pursued in isolation. This is important, so we still have to be open to our partners. We have to create new digital partnerships, for example. And I was really glad to see that this kind of thinking, this kind of elements in the European digital international strategy that was adopted before the summer. So I was very glad to see that. And last but not least, I would say what is really important is that this process of pursuing technological sovereignty should be inclusive in the European Union. So it should not be limited to just a couple of certain countries. In the European, there should be a place for Slovakia, for Poland, and we should be really part of this process, I think.
Okay. I will remain in this topic for a little moment. I'm just interested in the biggest opportunities for Europe in the next years in the terms of the technological sovereignty. Maybe also Mr. Stefanek and Mr. Tsigan, if you can just explain, where do you see the biggest opportunities for the Europe?
From my point of view, the biggest opportunity, advantage, or how we call that, is the creativeness of Europe. Guys in US, they've got money. Guys in Asia, China, Singapore, they are hard workers, but not other part, just Europe is the most creative part in the world. And in the terms of European Union, I would say that if you are looking for the most creative part of the European Union, these are the countries in the east, like Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary, maybe Slovenia as well. And as I know, and as we can see now in the West, many big companies are calling our managers and senior leaders and students which are already studying the universities in Britain, US, or in France or Switzerland, and are offering them the job not because they are just the absolvents of these universities, but they have something more, what is missing currently in the West.
You touched upon a very important topic of how to keep talents in Europe, and I hope we'll have a chance to discuss this topic even further later on in the discussion. But when it comes to specific areas where we can see the greatest potential, I think we should start with semiconductors. It's just the foundation, everything. In terms of technology, without semiconductors, we are not able to make any progress. And at the moment, unfortunately, we are very much dependent on external actors. What else? Cybersecurity, I would say, in Poland. Like when you see Poland, there is clear potential for that because we are one of the most attacked countries in the world when it comes to digital sphere. Even our deputy prime minister recently said that we are the most attacked country in the world when it comes to digital sphere. So we have great potential for cooperation when it comes to Poland. What else? I would say quantum, because many discussions right now, they concern artificial intelligence. There is much hype around it. But we should also focus, in my view, on technology that perhaps they are not that much developed at the moment, but they are of equal potential, like artificial intelligence. And if we have good resources, we have leading research institutions in Europe. If we can manage to find synergies between our countries, if we can team up, then we can really be leaders as Europe in that sphere. We are clearly behind in artificial intelligence between other parts of the world, but in quantum we have still a chance to change that. And one underlying issue that to these considerations is money. You know, we need money for all of that. Obviously, you know.
Everybody needs money.
Yeah. So without funding, there is no chance to advance our goals. But you know, and just to mention that the EU funds are available. Like Poland is spending. Our goal is to spend 5% of GDP, you know, on digitalization up until 2035, you know. So we should really consider that as a standard and common thinking around our countries.
Okay. Go through Mr. Chovanec. In recent years, Slovakia's sovereign foreign policy has begun to orient itself toward all four corners of the world. Can you enlighten the policy for us in details from the point of view of Slovak's economic diplomacy?
I think the world is shrinking. It's still smaller and smaller due to technology, due to digitalization, and that leads us, or it opens the opportunities for us to have business partners all around the world. Slovakia, as a small country, cannot have its embassy in 150 countries, but we tried to be present in the regions that are either highly populated or rapidly growing. That was and we should not just work with the EU. EU is our natural partner. It's the country or the union. We export there 90% or 85% of our industrial production. That's given. That's okay. Entering EU was the best what could happen to Slovakia from economic point of view. But we also should find the new areas and new territories where Slovak companies can either find their partners or their export territories. That's why our economic diplomacy is right now focused on the countries of the global south, I'll be more specific, on the countries in Africa, in Southeast Asia, obviously the market where we are historically strong, I mean the Balkan or the Northern Africa, and of course some of the countries of the former Soviet Union, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and so on. Those are the territories where we can still be successful, where we can be competitive, and if Slovak company decides that they want to be more stable, not to focus only on Slovak market or EU market, but also to be present in different parts of the world, I believe it gives them more stability and it gives them room for maybe some down years in their main market to offset it into being present in a different market. That was our strategy, to open embassies, for example, in Algeria, in Ethiopia, in Tanzania, in the Philippines, and so on, just to have better presence there and to have more economic diplomats working in these territories to get the information that they can give to the companies that are interested in doing business in those countries.
Yes. So you mentioned some projects you did in these things.
Yeah, our role of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not that we can do the business for the companies. It's their activity, their role. We can be helpful. We can find them good contacts. We can maybe research the potential cooperating companies. We can maybe introduce them to the local business associations or local companies, and we can promote them. That's our main role. We do it in many different ways. We usually set up a business mission of 10 to 40, 50 companies when President, Prime Minister, ministers travel for an official visit. There is something extra when you are or when companies accompany some political leaders. Also, the partners see that they are respected in their own country, like in Slovakia, because they are part of the delegation. We are doing a lot of activities where we can introduce the companies to their counterparts, either via ambassadors that are seated in Slovakia. Those are innovation days where we take them to the to the companies that have very specific, unique, innovative products, so they can easily understand what we are focusing on, or many other bilateral visits and bilateral matchmaking or networking events.
Yeah. What about Saria? What are the projects in current foreign policy?
Thank you very much. Saria role, or one of the main role of Saria is helping Slovak companies with their export activities, and we have several tools to do that. So we are organizing business missions, we are organizing national stands at the global fair trades, we are organizing large networking events, and we are providing individual consultancy to the companies. But when we talk specifically about the ICT, from our last analysis, we found out that 30% of all companies that been a part of the business mission year and a half back were exactly from the ICT sector. So this is very interesting, and this sector is ranked on number 1. So all other sectors are below. Very important for us to know. And also, these companies are, I would say, micro or small companies, but with a very, I would say, unique and innovative product, which also show how it's the dynamic of the sector in Slovakia. And regarding the territories of their interest, I would say from the same analysis, we found out that they are looking on the US market. They are looking also to the markets of the Western Europe, but we are also observing increasing number, increasing interest towards to China, India, Middle East, and also Central Asia countries. So that's from my perspective.
Yeah, perfect. You started with the ICT, so I will jump to the digital ecosystem. Maybe I'll try to ask Mr. Štefanek about the position of Slovakia in the international digital environment. As a small country, are we just a recipient of rules, or do we also have room to actively co-create a framework for digital technologies of the European and global levels?
Thank you for such a nice question. Because, we are really in the main discussions now in Europe, in OECD, and in OSN as well, in ITU. We are not just following the rules made by the others, but we cooperate and co-create and help. Just one example from many of them. Slovakia has been co-chairing the OECD Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence for the second year. The 2024, we co-chaired with India. This year we are co-chairing with Serbia, and we are looking for the next year. And we want to organize big OECD Global Partnership AI Summit. There was a plan to organize it this year, but occasion just in OECD, I would say, change our goals. So we are discussing this with OECD to make it happen the next year. So this is the simple question: how we are going with our cooperation in the global world in terms of digital or in terms of AI. Last Friday, I took part an informal summit where digital ministers were discussing in Vienna. So we were there with Hanna Virkkunen, and it was really nice day. The next year we are going to Vienna for TEDx AI. So we are still trying to be in the position that we are one of we are one of the countries where the AI is the main topic.
Okay. What about Poland again? Because I think that there are some differences between Slovakia and Poland. So.
Yeah, well, when you look at Poland, like potential when it comes to ecosystem is clear. We have like already strong and growing ecosystems in cybersecurity, as I mentioned, in gaming, in fintech, and in GovTech. Interestingly, this is a very promising area. For example, we have like this mobile application. It's called M-Obywatel. So you can do basically like many civil like actions through your phone. You can it can serve as your digital identity. For example, you can even starting from this month you can even report car crash. So there is already potential in that areas, but. Like I would say three elements that we have to mention when we're discussing these topics is first is funding. Already mentioned that it's a problem because it comes up very frequently with our discussions with tech entrepreneurs and businessmen. Our venture capital market is fragmented, is significantly smaller than American one, for example. Infrastructure. I hope we'll be able to discuss that later on, but our entrepreneurs should not be at disadvantage at the start in comparison to their competitors. And third one is talents. This is what you mentioned at the beginning in your first remarks. How do we keep them in Europe? How do we make them stay? That's the problem. I don't know if you remember the famous photo. Of OpenAI, the core team that was responsible for developing the O1 model. Imagine that one-third, even more, one-third of these engineers were Polish.
Okay.
That's the thing. How that's food for thought for us. How do we make them stay and build these products, these ecosystems in Europe?
The funny things for me is that when we were at university, I mean, many of us has joined these Erasmus studies, in different countries. So I was studying in Latvia. There was so many guys from Poland, and in that time, the cooperation, the discussion during the events in the pub was great. We have that discussion about the world, about everything. Then when it comes into the real life and the business, it's like all the countries in the Europe are protecting their own territories and are scared to cooperate. I've got a discussion last Friday in Vienna with guys from Portugal, because they have very cheap electricity in there because of solar panels and stuff like that, and they want to sell the electricity to France, but France is telling them that no, we don't want your cheap electricity because we have our own expensive nuclear electricity. And they don't even have the connection between the countries. So that's where the problems of Europe are. They are not in policies, they are not in regulations, they are in just basic discussions.
Okay.
Actually, let me not to agree with you. I think the problem of EU is exactly in the policies and the regulations, because there are policies and regulations which should not be there eventually. EU is fragmented. It's not one territory like US or comparing to China or India, huge countries with a lot of population. I still believe, or now I will agree with you, that we have very creative and skilled people. The problem is that they will even come up with a great product or a great new technology, but they, because of these restrictions, they cannot grow it as fast as in US or in other countries, namely, let's say, India or Indonesia, Korea, and so on, because we are protecting those markets. The law for procurement is killing Slovakia, other countries. It's killing the use of European funds. You know, it's so bureaucratic that actually it doesn't allow the technology to grow as fast in the US. And then we cannot blame the company because they want to earn money and be a worldwide product. That's why they go to US. We have to come up, but we means all of us. We are the member of EU. We should come up with the suggestions how to change EU legislation to allow these companies stay in Europe, give them tax holiday, or let them do something on a easier or not so bureaucratic level, and try to build those big companies also within Europe, because then we are left to be waiting what US will send us, if they will adapt their product, if they will be willing to sell us chips or semiconductors or something else. And we saw it during COVID. COVID showed it great, especially during that 2 weeks that the ship in Suez Channel was somehow blocking it, stuck. We realized that we are not producing in European Union enough parts to produce anything meaningful in this sense, and that's something that maybe we should be more vocal in Brussels about.
Okay, but still, what we can do, what we can try to, what are the suggestions for the policymakers on the European level to do? To not to be like so regulated like now.
I tell you again, during these formal roundtables, the discussion is sterile.
Yeah.
It's like everybody is talking about something, but nobody is listening. You know, because somebody has created the paper. But when the lights are switched off and there is a lunch or even in the evening, the guys are speaking together. When they want to speak together, they always are discussing very nice projects. It's always like that, but there has to be opportunity to discuss it in informal way. This is the first step how to change the way where the Europe is going.
Yeah. Okay, I will go to some actions for technological sovereignty in Slovakia, or maybe to some contribute to European efforts to build an AI sovereignty. Maybe Mr. Chovanec, do you see room for our participation in some specific projects such as IPCEI projects in the field of AI or AI gigafactories? Maybe Mr. Štefanek too. Do you see that?
I believe there is a room because we have some very skilled, well-educated and smart people that can work on these projects. We still can be interesting to some of the investors or some of the companies to establish their center in Slovakia, because we are also producing quite a lot of green energy. Now I'm talking about the hydro power plants. I also believe that the nuclear power plants are quite cheap on a how you call it, operational basis, of course, to build them. And well, they are definitely at least non-carbon. We know that for sure. It's very expensive to build it, but then on an operative level, the price for electricity is very, very low. And that's a positive sign that EU is coming back to the nuclear. So this combination of, I don't want to say cheap electricity because the electricity price in Slovakia is very expensive, but it's expensive because so many other additional costs are added to the final price. But the how you call it, the power that is just produced, you know, the only the electricity price is quite cheap, and we can build these big companies or these big data warehouses and other computer technologies that our students or our scientists and the people that have good idea can work on those on those projects. They will not be in some mass measures. It will be very niche, specifically targeted activities. But I think that there is the potential for Slovakia to be leader or belong to one of the world leaders in few very specific aspects that can take advantage of what I mentioned before.
Are there also any other ideas what to do? Maybe from the Polish side.
Yeah, well, well, I think our countries, Poland, Slovakia, we have all it takes, to pursue some significant projects together. Like we have pool of talents, as we mentioned. You mentioned the big interest of Slovak companies in ICT missions. I already mentioned the highly skilled engineers. Look, at Poland, we have, at the moment, we have like more than 400,000 people employed in this sector. So it's a huge number. We have agility. We have also some growing ecosystems. So yeah, why not? And Poland is already taking some concrete steps in that direction. We are building AI factory in Poznań, in the city of Poznań. We are present in the project. It's called Lumi project in Finland as well as a part of consortium. And what is most important as well is that we are planning to build AI gigafactory in Poland, like this one of these 5 AI gigafactories in Europe. And I would like to stress that this is not Polish project. This is like it will be built in Poland, but it's not exclusively being developed by Poland. We think about it as a regional project, and it will be built in cooperation with our regional partners. So yeah, why not to team up and try to build something significant?
Okay. I will just jump to the last point of the discussion, competitive Europe, because it's quite the most important from all of those. Maybe Mr. Chovanec, in general, how Slovak Foreign Service can contribute to the strengthening of EU competitiveness and also innovativeness of the Europe?
I don't know if we have a correct question how we can contribute to the EU competitiveness. We should concentrate right now on Slovakia and Slovak competitiveness, and having or being competitive as a Slovak companies, it obviously will add to the competitiveness of EU. We have a very dominant part of our economy are foreign investors, and I will still say that I'm thankful for them to be here. But right now, what we need is for them to bring jobs and projects with higher added value. Okay? It will not be just enough that we offer them some incentives or cheap labor. That's gone. But what we are still very specific, or what is our strength, is that we have a very good workers, operators, and they can work also on a more difficult projects. So I believe, or I hope, that Slovakia will be able to transform a little bit to this modern digital age. Also thanks to foreign investors, that they will come and bring the more sophisticated projects to Slovakia. That's one part. The other part is to have more medium but also bigger size of Slovak companies. There are not that many Slovak companies because of course we don't have that many with a 50 or 70 or 100-year history. They are still growing. Sometimes during the growth, the owners sell the company, which is not always beneficial for the economy. It's beneficial for them, but not for the economy. But I would like to see more and more Slovak companies to be very meaningful player, maybe in a niche sector, in a very specific agenda, but being I would say, world leader. That help. We as a small country can do this much. That would affect also European competitiveness.
I will also give floor for all of us, or of all of you, because of all of you are from the state institutions. So, what can state institutions cooperate more effectively to open new opportunities for the innovative economy? You said that it is needed.
What can state institutions do?
What can state institutions do?
That's a very tricky question because there are so many state institutions. I will answer what we can do, and I already gave you some examples. We can do the networking, and we can do the finding the partners, and we can open you the door abroad. That's our role. And having more specifically dedicated economic diplomats at our embassies. 2 years ago when I came to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there were only 17 people working on economic agenda abroad in those embassies. By the end of this year, the number will be 43. That's a very, very big increase. So it means that basically on every medium and bigger size embassy will be one dedicated person. Most of them are coming from the private sector now. They are not just the regular people from the ministry. Those are people with business experiences, and they will be there to help Slovak companies, to be successful. That's what I believe is our role and what we are going to do. There is one more instrument that if you are in business or you need some contacts all around the world, we have almost 200 honorary consuls. Honorary consul of Slovak Republic in some country. Actually, some of them are even present at this conference. And they are basically in every country in the world. So even if we don't have embassy in some countries, so we definitely have a honorary consul there. It's usually the person with an economic background, a businessman or some well-respected person, and they are willing to be helpful to Slovak companies in again helping them do the business in that specific country. So I believe there is enough instruments. The question is if all the companies know about these instruments and know how to take advantage of them. And that's our role to introduce it to them. And then they have to have the drive. They need to go and try, be successful abroad. It's not easy. It's a long-term run. But the ones that can survive, then they are very successful.
Okay. Maybe Miri?
What was the question?
The question was that what can state institutions do to make Slovakia more innovative economy?
Sometimes it will be good if we do nothing. At least 10 years and make the environment stable without any changes. But no, I'm kidding. We are going to have a AI Act for Slovakia in practice soon. When we were preparing this law, we're trying to keep it short and simple. And it has only 16 pages. So I hope that in the future we will keep this number of pages. So we don't want to pre-regulate the business, we want to help the business. The AI Act, EU AI Act, has more than 300 pages. We are in 16, so it's like abstract. So this is what we do now. Since I've been in ministry, we are trying to discuss a lot with all interest parties, asking them and discuss how we can help them, how we can help the business, how we can make things easier. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe Paul.
Same question.
What's the question is that how can state institutions what can state institutions do to make Poland more innovative economy?
Yeah. I would relate to what you said about regulation. Slightly disagree with that, but just slightly. I think regulation is important. I see value in regulating tech sector. The EU approach is quite unique in the world because it's values-based. We put so much effort on securing privacy and security for consumers, so it's great. And in thinking long-term, it can be beneficial for our companies, especially in some sensitive sectors like healthcare, health tech or fintech or govtech. So where security of data, securing privacy is critical for consumers. And if we want to these innovative solutions to be adopted by citizens at scale, so in the long term, our approach, European approach, can be beneficial for us. But I really agree with the rest of what you said. Like we have at the same time, we have to create room for maneuver for our entrepreneurs, for creating conditions for innovation. And this is what our Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski, also at the moment Deputy Prime Minister, was saying very recently in his address to Parliament that we, as Poland, we advocate for the union of growth, and by that he meant that also creating this room for maneuver, room for innovation in the technology sector. So, yeah, our job is to just to strike a right balance between regulation and innovation.
Coming to Sario, are there any specific things you do for this?
You know, almost everything was said. I will just put one remarks on that combining the economic diplomacy with the business support, we have to make sure that our companies will be visible, reliable, and ready to compete globally. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, before we will go to the last question, I will just ask the audience if there are any questions from your side. Maybe in the Slido, I don't know whether there are any questions. Okay. So, if there are not questions, maybe just talk for the last point in this discussion. We are in the year 2025. If we meet in here in 2030, what milestones or what one milestone should Europe achieve to be truly technologically sovereign and competitive, and what can audience, businesses, entrepreneurs, researchers do now to contribute to achieve this milestone? What's the one thing that it is needed in next 5 years? I'll start with Mr. Collins.
Well, we need so many things that to have only one, to name only one is kind of difficult. I wish that we are still, that we would be more relevant in 2030 than we are today. I don't know what actually it means. I mean, if we are going to come up with a new product, something like quantum technologies or something that is only evolving, or maybe I will say it in a more easier way, not to miss another train, because we miss them quite a few already with all these social media digitalizations and now with AI. I really hope that Europe will be able to keep up the pace with other regions that we compete with. But I cannot name the product or the technology that should be the one that would put us.
But we need it.
We need it, but it's not up to me right now. Sorry to disappoint you.
What should we do? Start to listen to each other, like member states. Not just, this way that I'm speaking and you are not listening, but I'm speaking, you are listening, and we have a discussion. This is very, very important because sometimes when I'm discussing with the guys from the Western Europe, they don't even know the basic information about the Eastern Europe, and I don't know why, because we know a lot about France, Spain, Britain, Germany, Holland, and so on. And when it comes to Eastern Europe, in Western Europe, they don't know nothing. Nothing. Maybe just we have good coffee shops in Bratislava, but from the technological point of view, they don't know anything. When I discussed it last week, it was why you have still your atomic this how it is called power plants on, and I was explaining that why not, it's a green energy, but still there is a culture, there is an ecosystem, there is some kind of historical point of view why we need to have develop these, because our nuclear power plants are one of the newest in the Europe, so we have very nice knowledge, and there is a hand for Poland now, because we have, like, I would say, more than 40 years experience with two nice nuclear plants, and I know that you are going to build at least 5 or six now, so we can cooperate in this field, for example, and it directly connected with AI gigafactories and sharing the talents and so on. So for me, is the wide discussion between east part of the Europe and west part of the Europe without anything else, just listen and discuss.
Can we make it in 5 years?
For sure, but there must be at least couple of examples of good practice from east, what we can show in west. But I think that Poland is a big country, so they are currently doing a lot for that. Now we have to do something. But two hours ago, I went to Technical University of Košice to check how it is going with HPC computer. And it should be done, the milestone is at the end of the year. And you know what? They are already done. And the computer is, is computing. So 2-3 months before the deadline. So this is how we want to do it.
One of the successful projects,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, Paula?
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with you. What you said about cooperation between our countries. We should really find synergies, not only between Poland and Slovakia, but also other countries in Central Eastern Europe, because we have everything what it takes to be successful and be meaningful part of this pan-European goal of becoming more and more sovereign in technical area. What was the time frame that you mentioned in your question? 2030?
5 years.
5 years.
2030.
By that time, I think that I will be happy if we were able to say that we are in a position to make independent choices about ourselves, about our economic competitiveness, and perhaps if you want me to just single out one sector, perhaps it should start with semiconductors. I briefly mentioned that at the beginning of our conversation today. That's the foundation of everything. I know that we have this EU piece of legislation, like EU Chips Act. Hopefully it's successful and we can manage to secure greater share in this market as Europe. And to you, entrepreneurs, businessmen, tech people interested in technology, I would say stay bold, and stay connected and build together. Let's build things in Europe.
Thank you. Mr. Zvad, one short milestone.
I have 2 remarks on that. So hopefully in 2030 we will work more effectively. And I have an example. 2 years back we launched a very nice project that we are sending Sario experts to the foreign territories, and these guys are helping to introduce Slovakia as an innovative partner, and also they are attracting high added value investment to country. And nowadays we have 2. One is located in South Korea, another one in US. Another 2 experts will go to Japan and to China. So I hope in 2030 there will be 5 more. I'm optimist. And second remarks, that's my own opinion. I would say by 2030, I hope that Europe will stand on its feet with key technologies. And I think the challenge starts today with innovation, courage, and cooperation. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the discussion. Mr. Rastislav Kovanec, State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Slovak Republic. Mr. Radoslav Štefanek, State Secretary of the Ministry of Investment, Regional Development and Informatization of the Slovak Republic. Mr. Andrej Cigan, head... Arkadiusz, sorry.
Yes,
sorry for the name. Head of the Technology Security Unit at the Department of Economic Cooperation, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Poland. And Mr. Egon Zora, Director of the Foreign Trade Department at the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency. Thank you.